Hi guys, it's Jessica here with an update for you on dollies and more specifically Twiglings, or uh, as they've been changed to Artifex Kindred. Twigling is the artist name, and she changed her line of dolls to be called Artifex Kindred, but it's still under twigling.com if you're looking for her website. But anyhow, this is my MinIngenue, who is in this beautiful dark resin from Haru Casting, and she has a brand new, gorgeous, beautiful face up done by Fitzwig, and I hope that this is turning out or showing up well. It's looking pretty decent here. But I am so happy with her. So happy. She turned out just absolutely lovely. She's wearing her this witch hat that I made her, which if I'm going to pick her up and move her around, then I tie it because it's kind of heavy and will fall off of her. But I'll go ahead and take it off here so that you can get a better look at her face up, because it is just really gorgeous. So yeah, the tiny intricate detail work he did with her gold decoration on her forehead. She is wearing a pair of Doll Bakery Urethane Eyes. They are in the color hot pink, and they are 10mm with small iris and low dome. And I did have these in small Neela, my Mishi's doll Dreamy, and they look fantastic in her, but they also look really fantastic in Herla. So Mini-Herla has stolen these, and I really do love them a lot in her. So I'm super happy with her. So great to have her home because she's my little ride or die girl. I'll show you, I did get a pair of eyes for Neela, and I'm very pleased with them. These are actually Enchanted doll eyes. They suit her really well. And I wasn't aware of this, but because Enchanted doll eyes are very expensive, like Doll Bakery eyes. They run $55, $60, you know, just like Doll Bakery eyes. But one, I didn't know that they made 10mm eyes, which they do, and they are also only $30. And there's a shop on Etsy, US-based distributor who has free shipping on the doll, not Doll Baby, Enchanted doll eyes. So Enchanted doll eyes in Korea. So I think they suit her really well, and they're not small iris, so I think they would fit Herla less well, because I do prefer the small iris look, but she has really large eyes, and I think that they suit her really good. So really happy with those, and just wanted to let you know so that they're on Etsy, and I'll try to remember to put a link down below to the shop, because they do have a lot of in-stock eyes too. But yeah, free shipping in the US, and they came super quick. Like, I had these eyes within like 2 or 3 days from they were in stock, and ordered them. And for free shipping, I just assumed, oh, I'm going to be waiting a couple of weeks for those, but I had them in a couple of days. So they must have plunked them in the mailbox right away, and that's 2-day priority mail. It was very quick. So, if you've been, like I said, if you've been watching my Instagram, and I don't think I was telling very many people that I had gotten this girl, She's another Twigling girl, and I'm just gonna go ahead and bring her out here. She came in earlier this week, and I didn't do a box opening. I'd gotten home from work, and it was a Saturday, and I'd missed her the day before, much to my sadness. But I got off work on time and was able to drive like a maniac and make it to the post office before they closed on Saturday and pick her up. And she came all the way from Australia, and her seller, it's a sugary cuppy cakey. She does custom alpaca doll wigs, and they're very beautiful. But she had this gal up for sale for a while, and every time she would repost it and I would see it, it was just it was just murder. It was just murder. It was so hard for me to see that doll over and over for sale. So I did a short layaway and was able to bring her home. So this is Twigling Aunjanue. She is the short legs and short waist option. So she's the shortest configuration of the Twigling body, and I absolutely love it. I love it so much that it kind of makes me a little sad that I didn't choose this configuration for any of my other dolls, because I do have two tan Twigling dolls. The one I've been waiting for 18 months, and then I added a second back in May, so however long that was. But they're both on like the classic configuration, which I do love. I do love the classic. But this gal is 59, 60 centimeters. If I have her completely flat-footed and measure her, I'm getting about 59. So she's very, very petite, and my other dolls, they're like 65, 67, you know, they're a lot taller, bigger girls. And I had wanted a Twigling doll. Like, that was kind of my dream, was that to have a 60 centimeter Twigling girl. And I had multiple times I have tried putting my Aunjanue heads onto 60 centimeter dolls, like 57 centimeter Delphs, April Story. I think the April Story body was more like 62. But the Feeple 60 and the classic Delph girls are 57 centimeters, and they're just extremely bobble-headed. The Aunjanue's head sculpt is just way too big. And so I thought, even if she was 60 centimeters, that it just wouldn't look right. But the proportions, she has these very, I think, to me, they look like gymnast legs. They're just these petite, muscly, beautiful gymnast legs. I love them so much. She does have a skirt that she's been wearing, but I took them off so I'd be able to show her body a little better. Yeah, so I'm super, super in love with the body, and I kind of had it in the back of my mind that I would switch Herla onto this body. You know, when she got here, I was gonna measure her and see if she was, you know, the 60 centimeters. I think it does say on the website that the dolls are 60 to 65. But for some reason, I was just like not quite believing it because of my tries of putting her on a 60 centimeter body and how strange it looked. But it has to do with proportions of like the shoulders and all of that too. It affects it. So, but she is indeed 59, 60 centimeters. And I've always wanted Herla. Like Herla is my numero uno. It's like if she was going to be short like that, then I would go ahead and switch Herla's head onto this body, and she would take this body. But then when this doll came in and I got to see this face up for myself in my hands, so I may do some things and some minor adjustments to this face up, but I think that this is just going, I'm just going to straight reshell this girl into Herla. My original Herla was a white skin that I put on a 2012 fresh skin doll she casted Twigling body, if that makes sense. And I put her on it because it was shorter. And then I put Aunjanue, who was her mother, on the body that she had originally come on, which was my first Twigling girl. And she had the long legs and the long torso. And at the time I didn't know what her measurements were going to be. There were no measurements listed anywhere, and so I wasn't thinking, about what her height was going to be. And when I got her, she beautiful, but way bigger than I wanted her to be in comparison to the boys. I am a one who likes my guys to be substantially taller than the girls, and so there's like this arms race with these guys have got to be 75 centimeters plus to balance out and look the way that I want to aesthetically with the girls. So this is a big deal to me, having her on this 60 centimeter body, having her on this to be in comparison with the boy dolls that I have. That was always such a big part of her character, was that she was petite. And so it did bother me that she wasn't short enough. So the other part of that was that the original Herla on the white skin Aunjanue Head, I'm coming to dislike that face up that I had given her. There's some parts of it that I still like, but parts of it are chipping off, and I was kind of like, well, I was contemplating or starting to have it in my plans that she was going to get a new face up. So with that being that I was already going to wipe that head, and then here's this Aunjanue Head that has the same look, because I tried that with my Aunjanues. I was like, I'm going to reshell her onto this Aunjanues, but the face is different enough that it just didn't feel like Herla to me. It's gorgeous, and I still consider her a grail doll. Like, all Twigling dolls are my grails. like every Twigling that I see, like, I want, if it's an Aunjanue, I want every Aunjanue. I need to get some of these layaways paid off, but I do want to try to get my hands on another MinIngenue. I'd really like to get another one, and have her primary face be the sleeping faceplate. Anyways, I digress. So, yep, this is Herla. I'm very, very happy with her on this body. So this face up and body blushing was done by Sugar Glow Lights. I don't know if it's Sugary Glow Lights or I'm pretty sure it's Sugar Glow Lights. And she is on Instagram, and she's an American, but she's currently living in the UK. So I love her work. Someday I would love to get something else painted by her, because I really love her work. But I don't send my dolls out of country because of customs and things like that. So I won't send them out of the country for that work, except with Alyssa, who I bought her in the European Union and had her sent to Miss Mantis, who lives in the Netherlands. But that way we didn't have to worry about getting nailed with customs fees because the doll was coming from within the EU. So, but yeah, I won't send in a doll to there because you can't. If you insure it, then they might get nailed with customs. So, so wig is very temporary. It's very, very temporary. It's the only thing I had that complements the face up. It's not very Herla. Of all the kinds of wigs and colors of wigs that I would want for Herla, light blue is probably not top of the list, but it's a kind of, it's a fantasy wig. It's a really nice wig. It's a beautiful wig. But it was the only wig I had that really complemented this face up. I do have a wig coming in. It was a fairly inexpensive dark purple alpaca wig that was on Etsy, and I mean, I'm an impatient person. It was really inexpensive, so that helped. But I bought it immediately because it was in stock and ready to go. And it sounds like I talked with the wig maker and took measurements of her head, and I do think it's going to be a good fit. That's going to fit her. And so she'll have that until I can afford to get her something more custom made, is how I'd put it. Something more fancy, more appropriate Herla. But that's going to be months out, and those sorts of wigs, they take time to make and they're more expensive. So, yeah, so the level of love and excitement for this doll the moment I saw her. So it was a process. She did a really good job wrapping her up. She was unstrung, and every single piece. I wish I would have taken better pictures of it so I could plug it in here, because everything was just securely, perfectly wrapped with pink bubble wrap and really beautiful masking tape. It was just this. It was like opening up this beautiful package. It felt really special. So thank you again for that, taking the time to do that so well. But I put her together. She was very loose, and I have been meaning to. I bought the suede because I had sueded my MinIngenue, and it's just amazing. Like it is not even the same doll. It is so spectacular once they're sueded. So I really wanted to suede all of my Twigling dolls. And so I bought the suede. I had the suede, opened this girl. She was very floppy. I was like, well, I can try tighten her a little bit, and I'll get the hot glue out, and I'll try to suede her up. And I was just like, no, I'm going to suede her with real suede, and I'm gonna do it right now. So yeah, I got crazy wind in my sails, and it took me a long time. It took me 5 hours start to finish. I did take a little break at the end to allow the glue to dry for an hour or so, and I stayed up till like midnight before I strung her again. And it's amazing. I can't recommend it enough. Oh, thank you, Olive. Oh, thank you. Yeah. She's wearing these shoes that don't fit the greatest, but even in these kind of horrible shoes, she can stand pretty good. I didn't suede her knees because she was so stable in them, is that she's wearing these really horrible shoes that are not the most balanced. I sueded every joint in her body besides her knees. I was going to put her together and see how she did, and if I didn't like it, then I was going to take her apart and do the knees too. but I think it's good. I think I did her neck, and I love that. Like, especially the stronger you string them, it's going to kind of pull their head when you try to lift it up. I'm so happy with it. I am so happy with all the poses that she can hold now, and with her arms. Like, this is just amazing. It is just so amazing. So happy with it. So happy. So highly recommend that. Let's see. I'm gonna set her down. So so I sueded her, and then that's what I've been working on this week. After I sueded her last Saturday, I've got 2 more dolls done. And I haven't put this one back together. I wanted to show you. This is my Aunjanues, and I actually kind of wish that I wouldn't have sueded her neck, because I want to send her off for a face-up. It's not a big deal though, it really isn't. It's easy to take these off, because there was one I had to already take off to fix, because I screwed it up, and it was super easy to get off. So this is real suede, and the technique that I'm using, I really like how how the feet turned out. It is definitely a long process. Let's see, let me grab. So what I do, and I'll post a link. It's a tutorial on Den of Angels that's called, let's see, my computer went off. It's called Traditional Full Coverage Sueding Tutorial, and it's by Mal Addict, MALADICT, on DOA. And I'll try to remember to leave a link to the article below. I don't know if it's one that you have to be a member of the community to look at. I always thought that was a little bit kind of a stinkery thing to do, that like tutorials and stuff, I think a lot of them you do have to be a member to be able to see. But so DOA does have its problems. To be able to get access to look at the tutorials, to be able to get access to be on the marketplace, you know, jump through the hoops, you know, get it done. Just cross your T's and dot your I's, and just watch yourself when you're there, because there's some problems. But for those sorts of things, I like DOA a lot, and that's where I got this tutorial. It's got lots of pictures, but what you do is you it's just painter's masking tape, and whatever the joint is that you're going to want the pattern for, you put a bunch of tape in there, and then you take it out, and I'll kind of put some pictures in here that I had taken of the process, and then I lay it out flat, and then I've got my pattern piece basically. So and I actually have I now have a pattern for the Twigling girls, and you still have to adjust it from there. There's some adjustments. This is probably the most difficult joint to try and get sueded in with one piece. So I feel like I'm like completely, like I'm pretty perfect like with all the other joints, and like I can just make them like just spot on. This I have to finagle with a lot with this one, the hip joint, but the difference it makes is amazing. I've sueded Alondria, So this is Alondria. She's actually this body is my first twigling, and she is the long legs and the long torso. So she is the tallest of the twiglings. She's the tallest option, and I still think I could string her a little tighter. It would help, but she's sitting so wonderfully now. But you can see, so like I said, I think I could do her a little tighter because her leg kind of won't stay. Also, I think part of it is just how long the legs are. I think that affects it too. The length of the limb and the weight of the limb. So very long, very heavy. It's harder for her to hold those poses with those long, heavy legs. But I did, again, every joint in her body except for the knees, and she might benefit to having the knees. But that twigling engineering, she kind of screwed it up when she did the MinIngenues, and I hope that's been fixed in this latest version. But the SD size twigling body, the knees are one of the best parts of the body as far as how well they're engineered. In my mind, I think they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous joints, and they're fantastically engineered. So this is Alondria. She's white skin body with the long leg, long torso. She is wearing a pair of fresh skin Aunjanue hands, which I would like to blush to match this more. But I like Aunjanue's hands, or the original Aunjanue hands. I didn't care for the hands that she released. I don't know what they're called, but they were the hands that I got in with this doll, and I didn't care for them. I blushed them. I did everything to try and like them, and I never did. I never liked them. So she got these Aunjanue's hands. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Scarlet back together, the Aunjanue's, who's in pieces over here. I'm going to restring her, and then I kind of want to do a comparison and show everybody, so you can see the different bodies, you know, how they compare, what are the differences, and we can kind of have a twigling comparison, because a lot of people have been asking me that. A lot of people have been asking me that for a long time, and now I've added even another one. And I always kind of had it in my mind that I was going to wait until I got in my tan girls. So I've been waiting 18 months for those. But I think I'll go ahead, and I've got them here. A lot of them are undressed. Everybody's undressed, really, except for Herla, who's wearing this corset right now and a pair of underwear. So this is as easy as it's going to be, and a lot of times to have them already all undressed to show you guys. So I'll be back in a minute, and we'll see what everybody looks like. Okay, guys, that took a lot of time. Not the restringing part so much, but getting them set up in some sort of presentable line. I tried several different things, but this is what I've decided to go with, because you can see them all together in one shot and get a good comparison between them. So this is these are all my twigling bodies, and they just all happen to be Aunjanues too. They're all Aunjanues. The one on the end is the MinIngenue, so she is the MSD size. She's like 44, 45 centimeters. Next, this was my first one. This is Alondria. She was a white skin that was ordered in the long pre-order, and so I got her The pre-order started January 2015, and I got her February 2016. Right? Yeah. She's white skin. She's the sleeping Aunjanue, and this head was the regular Aunjanue that came with it. So she has the long legs and the long torso, and she was way taller than what I wanted. And so not long afterwards, I found this body on the secondhand market. It is a doll she casted body, I think from 2012. 2012 doll she casted body in, she's either in fresh skin or oriental. I'm not sure which. This one is my Aunjanue's. She's casted by a company called Weiji. They are a casting company that I've seen some other artist dolls cast by in artist heads, and it is a really nice resin. Really, she doesn't really have seam lines. I have heard artists who work with that company have had complaints, so I'm not sure, but I do feel like the resin is really high quality. This doll she casted body from 2012 is definitely the best body of all of these as far as quality of resin, quality of casting. This brings out the very best in everything for the Aunjanue body. And I really do like this short one. She is also from the long pre-order. She's in pink skin. She's from that long pre-order. And Alondria and the new Herla, they were both from that long pre-order that was launched January 2015. And I got my white skin doll in February. I don't think people got their pink dolls for several more months after that. My friend Scarl, it was quite a few months later before she ever got her girl. But the quality of the resin and the quality of the casting is noticeably less higher quality with this their certificate of authenticities. They just say a casting company in Korea. The casting company isn't named. So I don't know what the name of that company is, but she ended up not using them. She switched from them entirely to another one to cast the tan dolls, and then ended up, those came back really horrible, and finally went to Haru Casting. So Haru Casting did my MinIngenue, and she is the first release of the MinIngenues that Haru Casting did. There's been 2 releases that Haru Casting did. And at the time when the long pre-order was going on and the MinIngenues were being broached, Haru Casting did not do SD-sized dolls. They weren't casting those size dolls, so they weren't an option. When they became an option and things weren't working out, it sounds like Twigling went ahead and went with them. I don't have those dolls yet. I've heard tell that they have arrived, and she is starting to work on them. I saw pictures on her of her her Instagram and her Facebook that she's gotten those dolls. So I'm really hoping that I'll have my hands on that doll. The Pieta was an addition in May, but I've been waiting for my tan skin Pieta for 18 months. So it does sound like I'm going to have those 2 dolls by the end of the year. And I'll be really interested to see the details of their casting and the resin. the Haru casted MinIngenue is wonderful. The casting, the resin, it's really, really wonderful. It does kind of hurt my heart a little bit to see the quality of resin casting for these two dolls. It's definitely it's not as nice as the Doll Sheet and even the Weiji company. There's I took some pictures. I'll try to stick those in. Just like this shoulder piece, you look at this shoulder piece on this Doll Sheet casted doll compared to this unknown Korean factory. Like, there's just all these pits, the insides of their thighs. So here, I'll show. That's one I didn't cover it up with sueding, so you could still be able to see it. So, like, here's the inside of that joint there, and so that's from that unknown Korean company. This is the Doll Sheet casted body, and just how smooth and clean and nice that is. It's just, the difference is night and day. And just the feel of the resin is very different. So that's definitely a little disappointing, because these dolls definitely weren't discounted in any way. They're, you know, I paid, you know, because it was in euros, and with the two heads and shipping, I mean, it was about $1,000 to get that doll. You know, that was, wasn't sanded, wasn't, no face up, no sueding, anything like that. Just the blank doll. I should have had her shipped unstrung to save some money. But yeah, it was about $1,000 for that doll. This girl down here is, I know she's a Doll Sheet casted Aunjanue Head in pale tan. And she's actually wearing, I really like them in her. These are Doll Bakery red wine eyes. They're 14mm small iris, and they really do actually suit her pretty well. Oh, hi, Olive. Here's Olive to help us. Yeah, helpful girl. Hi. So this has been Herla. And she's got some chipping on her face up. I did the face up, and I still, there's a lot of things I still like about it, but I would like to get her a new one. And I think I'm just going to reshell her onto this shorter body. And I really, I just like the aesthetic of her too, with her short legs, her kind of thick, meaty legs. I just think it really suits Herla having that really short, small, petite aesthetic that was always part of her character. So I'm thinking that she's probably going to be that. All the rest of these, everybody has, I think they're considered the type C bust at this point. Because I think initially the original Aunjanues, well, am I saying that right? They've changed it, because they didn't used to have the D's. When they made the Aunjanues, she had, that became I think the type C bust, if I'm not mistaken. And they all have the type C bust, including the MinIngenue, and then this is probably the type B. because there is an A-type bus that's much smaller than that. But I really like these smaller breasts. They're nice. They're all nice. That's one of my favorite parts about the Twigling bodies is the bust, the way they lay, just a real natural type of hang. So, but yeah, you can kind of see she gets most of her height. A lot of it's from her waist there. She has a really high waist, and her legs, her thighs are really, really long. And then these two would have the most original body, type before the changes, where you could get these options. The long pre-order that was launched January 2015 is when you could choose these different configurations. She had long thigh, short thigh, normal thigh, and then she had short waist, normal waist, and longer waist. And those you could really change their height and look quite a bit. And then the 4 bust types, the A, B, C, and D. So these are all Aunjanues. We've got an elf Aunjanue or Aunjanues, and the sleeping Aunjanue. The ones that I have coming in are going to be Elbe and Pieta, and it is my goal to eventually, I love all of her face sculpts, and eventually I do want to get all of her sculpts. I love Nikaru. She'd probably be next on my list. Oryx, if that's how you say it, is right up there. My 2 favorites are Aunjanue and Eloy, and I have 2 Eloys and 6 Aunjanue. So I don't necessarily want to get so many repeats of the others, but yeah, these are my Grail dolls, and like, to me, this is what the hobby's all about. These dolls are it. So, okay, I've rambled enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it kind of answered some of your questions. I hope it wasn't too confusing. I will try to answer any questions that you might have. I'm really slow about it, but I do try to get back around to them. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're having a great week. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.